how you fit inside of it, and how you can contribute. So if you would like this team to come to you, I bet you if you ask nicely and maybe have some popsicles, they'll be happy to come. You don't have to have any popsicles, but I'm sure they'll be happy to come to you. Cool? Yeah, yes.
I have a couple of questions. When is the public going to be able to actually offer feedback on the new development code? And seeing as you already have a copy of it written, when do you intend to give it to the public so they can look at it?
That's the question that we'll get a lot. So we don't have a copy of the first draft. It's going back and forth. There are iterations. It's definitely not ready for the public. We're hoping right now mid-October. And so there have been opportunities that have come up. We're looking at mid-October to release it. And so up till then, that's a couple of months. The goal is educate about zoning so that people are ready to bring reports. So we're looking at mid-October. I will say, if you've come in and just sat down or milled around a little bit and haven't filled out a form, please do that. That just lets us know that you're here. It lets us know who's been to a zoning event and who hasn't, that kind of a thing. If you want more information, or you don't. So please fill that out. And I think otherwise, we're good to go.
Cool. Everybody stand up on your feet. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Terrence, we're ready to turn it on. We want you to find a station. Find a station, jump right in. The city staff will be there to talk to you, answer your questions, and we'll let you know when it's time to move to the next location. And if you need to double up on your popsicle, you are welcome to do so. I'm going to do so myself.
Oh, I thought maybe you guys like do it immediately.
All right, you'll have a few minutes at each station, so move to a station. Look at these lonely city staffers back here. What's your name? Arturo is stand over here. At number 3, there is nobody with him. He's all by himself. He's ready to talk to you. You have a couple minutes to get, or a couple seconds to get to a location. We'll stay on that location for a couple of minutes and then we'll move to the next one. Look at Deja. Deja's coming to Arturo. Awesome.
They definitely
Formally on it.
So maybe me, maybe her. So
not really.
Yeah, so like I'll be there and I look at his like, you need to be but I don't know from the code.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was like, oh no, I just
Look at all the community engagement we've had. We've had these wonderful community meetings and take feedback, and it's ready to go.
I really need to do this for me.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about it.
Hello, welcome in. We've got sign-in sheets. Either one is fine.
Okay.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
Glad you're not outside. I need to buy.
We have refreshments.
Got any water?
Yes, we do.
Just plain water.
Thank you so much.
I hope this is ice cold. Oh, lukewarm. Better than nothing.
Data centers that have now
Is there a section or?
Yes, so this is a section. So this is a section where you get to write down things that you want to know, or not only that, of how you envision Dallas for the future itself. You're more than welcome to answer some of the questions now, and then even as you go through it, come back, and maybe your thoughts have changed. These are just some of the questions you can answer, but really it's just, what kind of Dallas do you hope we are shaping? Is really at the end of it. Yeah.
I'm back. What are my questions?
You can pick from any of these, and you're more than welcome to go through all the stations and then come back again. But probably one of the best to answer without going through the stations are the last two. So what should residents understand more, and then also what do you hope Dallas to shape?
Oh, so I'm answering these questions.
Yes.
Not
And-
asking. Oh, I thought I was like, okay, obviously. I thought I was like asking.
Well, you can too. Yeah, you're more than welcome to. The whole point is just to also get an idea of what you're thinking and how we improve.
Per station, we will move it.
the QR code at the bottom. But if there are any other ways that you believe that we can help you stay informed throughout this process, please let us know. I encourage you to fill out flashcards, provide feedback on our engagement.
This was right into it.
Oh, is it not? Here, I have another one if you need it.
Entire process.
Here, let's try that.
I didn't like my question.
It said, wait a minute.
Whose social media page? Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're good.
All right, and we're moving in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On to your next station. There's that music. The music tells us it's time to move. My question is, who is going to visit Arturo at station number 3? Somebody. Arturo's a nice guy.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Fine fella. We'll give you about 24 seconds to get to your next station.
I'm trying to.
Meet the team at that station. Ask a good question. I bet you they should have an answer. A couple more seconds. All right. Hopefully there. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
I only have my, I didn't mean to interrupt, I only have my distance glasses. And I can't see. I can't believe how blind I look better with that. I see next on. Mr. Magoo.
All right. Hi.
Hi.
So most of y'all, I guess you didn't catch the opening spiel there.
No, I missed like 15 minutes of the. I think y'all started at 5:30.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
Really starting at 4:4.
I missed the video. You know, they always show the
Oh
video.
yeah, we didn't have a video this time, sadly. It was just
Jump right in.
Just,
Okay.
yeah, emceeing from our chief planner. But okay, so my station is just what zoning is. And so what I want to convey to everyone here is just what it is. I mean, do you know what zoning is off the top of your head? Is there a good answer for that?
Basically, it decides what can be built on that land.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, it's a great answer. It tells you what you can build there, how it's built, and what you can do within that. So we have different types of zoning districts. You can broadly categorize them into residential and non-residential. And then within that, especially on the non-residential side, you have commercial, industrial, retail, office, etc. All of these things tell you uses that are allowed and how you can build those uses. They give you regulations like heights. They give you regulations like setbacks, which tells you, okay, how far away from your property lines do you need to be? Your front setback can be one thing, your side and rear can be a whole other. Sometimes those can change based on what you're neighboring as well. For instance, if you're multifamily next to multifamily, those setbacks are different than if you're next to single-family residential, for instance, or if you're next to office. I think I already mentioned the max height. They can also tell you lot coverage. So of your lot, how much of it can be built, taken up by the structure, whether it's a parking garage, whether it's a building, typically even something like a patio instead of that structure. We could do a whole evening on how we define structures. It has been a debate before. Long and short, yeah, it tells you what you can do and how you can do it. And the last time we did a comprehensive update of the zoning code was in 1989. And so we transitioned pretty much everything over into what you see today. It's actually where the A in a lot of these districts come from. It's amended. As you can see, the vast majority of the city, it is zoned for what we've categorized in here as single-family residential. That does include the townhouse districts, it includes the duplex districts. I believe in the current kind of nomenclature, at least in our long-range planning document, duplexes, we can also call them single-family attached because they typically are single-family houses that you just put together. So the majority of the city is zoned that way. Beyond that, we have the gray, which you see a lot of here, those are the planned developments. And the PDs are planned developments. They run the gamut from very large areas like Uptown, South Dallas and Fair Park, Bishop Arch, West Davis, etc., to small one-off parcels. The PDs, they can basically be considered almost like custom zoning. Back in the day, it was pretty common that you would just go ahead and write down, okay, this is the PD, this is what's in it, here's the actual specific uses we're allowing, these are the heights and everything. More common in the last decade or so has been to refer to one of these districts in here, and then we state, well, what's it deviating from? You know, is it granting additional height, less height, more setbacks, more uses, fewer uses than what that reference allows. Typically, we've seen those in these large areas. With South Dallas Fair Park, for instance, they actually just went through a big change to it, where they really amended it to try to answer a lot of the concerns the neighborhood had about development going on in the area. You had a lot of houses propping up that oftentimes seemed a little out of place. You had challenges with getting retail in corridors that at some point might have had retail way back in the day, but in the ensuing decades were zoned to not allow retail and so on and so forth. They also include design standards and such, so that we say, hey, you want to build a house here, that's A-okay, but you want it to look a little kind of like what's generally there, so maybe have a front porch, don't have a garage take up the whole front, etc. Then you have smaller ones.
We got 2 more minutes right here.
There's a bunch of small ones here on the map, but sometimes it might be as simple as a school, where for some reason I think it just requires schools to have specific use permits for PD, and it basically just says, well, this is what the school is going to look like, this is where this building is, this is where the athletics building is, this is where the, the science building is, so on and so forth, and maybe some extra rules around, say, athletic field lighting, that sort of stuff. So really, it can get pretty bespoke and pretty complex at times. And we try to keep them simple where we can, but sometimes the nature of a site or development area necessitates sort of a heavier touch. I mean, an example I can think of is down in the I-20 corridor area. We call it the logistics park area. This is all PD they wrote, that there's uses in there that they custom defined. And you won't find in the regular development code things like the railroad intermodal facility. So the whole idea was, well, the railroad's there, you got warehouses, you got some manufacturing stuff.
We have 1 more minute right here at this station. 1 more minute.
Shipping containers. So it'll get pretty interesting with that. But that was a lot of talking there. I want to get the floor over to y'all. Yes.
So I noticed on some of the really big PDs, like PD 193 is really big.
Yeah.
And the new South Dallas Fair Park one is really big. So are those also called area plans?
So the area plan feeds the PDs. So the area plan for South Dallas Fair Park, this was, PD 193 I think had an area plan way back in the day. This one, the South Dallas Fair Park, was better. A few years ago, they initiated the SDFP South Dallas Fair Park area plan, where they sat down and over the course of a few years really got to the nitty-gritty, block by block, of like, what do folks want to see? What are the challenges people are facing? And out of that area plan, they then did the authorized hearing, where they said, okay, planning staff, authorized hearing staff, take what the long-range neighborhood planners learned and put in this area plan, and put it into action with authorized hearing to update the 85 minute. That one, I think, I'm not going to say it was a record-breaking turnaround, but it probably was, because we've had area plans that they get written, they're good plans, and then the process to either do an authorized hearing or just see any sort of change occur in terms of the rules and regulations on the ground, it takes quite a bit of time. And that was a big ask of the South Dallas community. Hey guys, we put a lot of work into this. Please don't let this just be a nice plan that sits on the shelf.
All right, that's your time at this current station. Go ahead and move to that next station. If you want to pick yourself up a popsicle, I just grabbed one. It's blackberry ginger lemonade, and it's delicious. You got a few moments to migrate to your next station, grab a popsicle, answer a question. You give you a few more moments to move to your next station. A few more moments. Move, stay, move. All right, I see some migration. That's nice. Okay. Almost at our next station. All right. We'll see you in a few.
Thank you very much. Hi, thank you very much for stopping by. So, kind of one of my stations is about why Dallas is updating because now the shortness of Dallas because the current code has been adopted in 1986. So it is pretty old and outdated. And over the time, city changed the code many times to address the current needs and current issues. And these made the current code really complicated and hard to read. So now we want to update and modernize the language to kind of address the existing needs and existing concerns, and also help us to shape the city of Dallas, the future of the city of Dallas. For example, back then in 1986, people preferred to have larger lots, single families as their home. But right now, the housing need has changed. For example, right now, they may prefer to have a smaller lot, single family with multiplexes, different housing options. But our current code actually address those. That's why we are updating.
Where we see this come up a lot now is
and it would be great if you could grab a card and answer the question, what should Dallas keep in mind as it updates
Question?
Yeah.
Okay, so like when they changed the zoning rules, I know that right now, like in a residential zone, homeowners are responsible for sidewalks in their neighborhood. And I was wondering with these zoning changes, is it possible that the city of Dallas will start taking responsibility for a lot of the broken sidewalks that need maintenance?
Okay, you can write down your.
I wrote down.
Yeah, please, yeah.
And the other question I had was, so in residential areas, this is more of a nitpicky one, but in the residential areas, I noticed that they put a new rule in 2017 that said you can't build anything within 5 feet of your property line. And so
it depends where your property is in the zoning district.
Right, in the residential. So I guess
but we have different types of residential districts. We have R R5, we have R7.5, and all these different, I think we have 5 to 7 different districts, residential districts, and each has its own set.
I know that.
But right now, I mean, with a new code, we will have new district and new development standards.
Right.
So we will take that into consideration. So your point is about you'd like to have a smaller setback or
No, so what happened was I'm getting ready to put an extra driveway on my property, and they told me I couldn't build the driveway approach within 5 feet of my property line. But I had a specific question about like if somebody built a fence, I have a developer that built a fence on the properties, and he built it right between ours. And does that also count as something that you can't build within 5 feet of the property? And fences count in that permitting process. So it's something that I want to pursue. Yeah.
I'm not the right person
Gotcha.
to answer that question because it's too specific.
Right.
And we really needs to see where your property is, and I don't have the right answer right now.
Okay. And the other question I had was, nobody's mentioned so far about mixed-use development. Is that part of the zoning process, or we y'all not have a zone made for that kind of thing?
Yes, we will have a new zoning district for those mixed uses.
So you would have like a commercial property on the bottom, and you can have apartments on the top, things like that. Okay.
Yeah. We will have totally new zoning districts, and one of those, I mean, part of those will be mixed use districts.
Okay. And did y'all say anything about like trying to make the city, make those little areas a little bit more walkable, or different types of like mixed transit options?
We are trying to incorporate the development standards that encourage more walkable and more pedestrian oriented.
Thank you very much.
But it would be great to have those, written and when we are collecting the community feedback, we can get it. So
Right. No, I got
we
you.
have all of those in a written format, would be great.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, sorry. Oh yes, we. Thank you for helping us keep the bees from going extinct.
Regarding transit.
All right, you got 1 more minute at this station. Word on the street is that there is an interactive map of some sort at station number 1, station number 2, somewhere in the vicinity of 1 and 2. 1 more minute, we're moving stations.
It's weird. Why didn't they do that before they got this far down the line? Because all of a sudden they've got this fixed date that they want to be open, but they didn't budget all they want to do is take that whole end of Jefferson because they gotta have the 4 acres.
Yeah, I might be able to answer I don't have questions.
All right. It's time to move stations. When you hear the music, it's time to move. I feel like a real life MC right now. All right, we're moving stations. You got a few more seconds to get to your next spot. Frankie's got a Dallas shirt. Where'd you get that? Oh my God. All right, a couple more seconds. Hope you're there.
You might not be able to hear you over the talk.
All right.
I'm gonna wait till
See you guys in a few.
Yeah.
tone the music down a little bit.
Where's she at?
It's fine to stay here longer.
Where's she at? She's over there.
I'm sorry?
The lady that was talking. Where is she?
Oh, she's behind the screen here right now.
Oh.
That's where she goes to take her. Yeah.
I gotta tell her, yeah, you need to.
comes out.
Yeah, you can't hear anybody talking,
Yeah.
okay.
Now she's.
Sorry, Arturo. You got the
Hello.
floor.
Hi, everybody.
If this is your first time or maybe your 10th time at one of these events, it's all good. This one today is really meant for super general overview of what zoning is and what it does and doesn't do. And my station here is how do you find zoning in everyday life. And when you look out your window at home or here in downtown and you see where things are and how big they are and how close to the street they are, or far away from the street, or separated, you used to say, there's half a mile worth of single-family homes, and then you might see a gas station, and then more homes, and then you might see a school. It's all related to zoning, where things are allowed to happen and not happen. And over the course of zoning, we've kind of made it, in certain people's opinions, a little more difficult to do our day-to-days without getting in a car. If we're also not thinking about transit, which is one of our transit access. There are things that we can do. We're trying to address with this new zoning code. Our zoning code hasn't been touched. Well, we haven't done a comprehensive redo of it since the 90s.
1986. Everybody's been saying that so far.
We've been trying, there's been changes made over years, and it's only made it more difficult, cumbersome to go through. And we need a redo and just evaluate where we are and what could be fixed and addressed to hit on many of the components that our residents want to see done either better or, definitely better, but also have it easier for our development community to understand our code and for staff to work with our code, because it is very hard.
So you work in permit office?
I work in the planning and development group. I'm more of on the urban design and conservation side of things, but we all kind of help each other out, basically.
So how did you come up with what implementing what?
We're still coming up. We're still coming up with that. That's why we still have.
So that's why we're not going to see it until October. It's not.
No, well, the one on October, the one from October did take in community input. We did have rounds of discussions before, I think done differently than today, but definitely trying to get people's input. And so that first draft is based on that. Now, when that draft comes out, the community will have a chance. We'll come out again. The community will then have a chance to react to what's been written. Are we kind of meeting the mark? Are we not? What needs to change? What can we adjust? And then we'll go back again and produce another draft.
Communications systems need to be more robust to get more people to be aware and meeting. Because I think a lot of people are very interested in this topic, but they don't know that children haven't had things like this.
Yeah, I mean, this is, exactly. And we can't expect everybody to show up to this event. We had one in the afternoon, and we're going to have more throughout the city. It's just we have to go to different places to hit as many people. And we are, and that's why we have Alicia and her team helping us out as well.
So let's just say your everyday life is getting zoning.
A lot of people, they're afraid when it comes to zoning. They're afraid of
Yes. Yeah, so the zoning team on 5, if you've been on 5 before, they have a 20-minute free session where you can come in and ask any questions. If your project is maybe more complicated and it does require maybe some zoning changes, then we advise it at our meeting, and that comes with a little fee, and I don't know. What's on the ground now? I mean, up until this gets passed, you're going to have to follow what's there. Yeah, what's there.
But they're not going to be able to give you some insights or this might be changes.
They could, because it could affect maybe.
It's about time to move to your. Should be last or second to last station. We're almost there, friends.
Nothing's guaranteed until.
Time to move.
And even if it's in the draft, it could change. So it's a little bit of a gamble there, but they can give you some insight. And also just understanding the comprehensive plan update that was done, approved about 2 years ago. the zoning change is going to try to help that vision be more implementable. So there's a little bit of a educated guess on what can happen around there, what might change based on that.
Thank you.
Question about transit. You guys work hand in hand with DART, right? Hand in hand with DART.
Yes.
No, it's also considered like stop.
No, that's more of I think it's more of a DART thing. We do work closely with DART, and I've been told that it kind of depends on the number of users that typically use that station. But in our opinion, and I'm sure their opinion too, and they're trying to make changes. Unless you have shade, I mean, who's going to want to stay there? I mean, and wait for a bus, especially if it's not a frequent bus service. So it's like parking for that sort of thing. And part of it also, I mean, trees could have helped that. And that's definitely part of the city's purview of zoning, so that could help there. I think shelters is more DART. We continue to have conversations with them. It always comes up, well, why can't I have a shelter? Why is it not? And that's their
And a lot of us don't have a job.
Yeah.
I have a question. So I know SB 840 just passed. How often do you see directives like that come from the state? Is it pretty rare or fairly often that the state is
I think more and more we're starting to see that. And I work in zoning day to day. There's others that I don't want to do. But yeah, you're right. 840 and SB, what is it? 350 or something, 150, I think, are new ones. It's in my view that we're having states and federal government kind of
want to dip their toes in.
Yeah, they're dipping their toes in what used to be local controlled things. The SB 40 thing might be okay. I mean,
yeah, because that one's the bigger picture on that one is making more multifamily, right? Like one of the big things, right? Is making it more accessible to build multifamily due to the housing shortage. That's why I was curious. That seems like a very big picture. So I'd be curious if like they're trying to get more technical than that at the state level, or if they really don't care. They're just like city do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're basically because it's also it depends on how large your city is. It feels like they're trying to get into the larger cities and have their input in that.
And that trumps city. Anything the city's putting together, right?
Yeah, and typically large cities with our federal government today don't necessarily see eye to eye, and it's their way to kind of get in. And I was happy to see it, but also kind of worry about what that might mean for future things. That, I mean, who knows? We're all cynical a little bit right now, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I had a question about, so when they do the zoning process, I know that right now the way it works is businesses are responsible for like sidewalks along the property. And with this new zoning laws that they're coming out with, is it finally time to where the city is going to start taking responsibility for sidewalk maintenance?
I know it's a 50-50 in certain situations.
There is, especially in residential, like single-family residential. You can do a 50-50, but I think you're right. If you come into a neighborhood that has, I don't know, over, say, 50% sidewalks in it, or is next, or very close to a school or transit or services, and you're maybe one of the properties that doesn't have a sidewalk installed yet, or it's in very poor condition, as part of getting your permit, your building permit, they're going to make you put in your own sidewalk. Now I know if you're living in a place and your sidewalk is in poor condition and you want to replace it, you can sign up to work with the city.
Sidewalk replacement program, but unfortunately you've got a lot of low-income residents that can't afford.
Yeah, and I think we do have some programs, and I'm not part of the transportation or the public works group, but my understanding was that they have programs and grants to address some of those. They probably can't address, I'm sure they can't address all of them, but there might be some programs and grants that help folks in those areas that they can't do it otherwise. Yeah.
I know there's a program that's for trees. You can apply for, if it's in the right of way. There's like money set aside that you can apply for like trees that the city provides.
Okay.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and every year, at least once a year, Texas Trees.
Yeah, so you go to the 311 app and you can actually ask for it. 311, if you go to the Dallas 311 app, you can actually put in a request to have them put sidewalks in the, they call it the right of way.
Oh, really?
I mean, not sidewalks, they plant trees in the
Oh, I
right
didn't
of
know
way.
the trees was in the 311.
Yeah, just look in the 311 app.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in front of my building, I'm in a condo. Unfortunately, there wasn't. I think there was maybe utility lines or something, so couldn't do it.
Utilities,
It has to be in
overhead
the
or
right of way.
underground always get in the way. And
They check for the easement.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times it's water lines, but yeah, they have underground.
That's sad. Man, I want a free tree.
I mean, some parts of the city, especially lower income areas, they really need the trees.
The trees. That's what. Yeah.
So that's great.
We also, I mean, it's kind of like
I don't remember who funds it. I don't know who
we hear this in certain neighborhoods where there's also a fear of maintaining a tree on their property or in front of their street, whether it's watering or having to water it or long-term maintenance with limbs and branches coming down. And so there's certain people there's certain people who just don't see it as a positive, and some people who do. And it doesn't matter what part of the city you live in. I've seen large mansions that sit on large properties with hardly anything on them, and they like it that way. I don't understand it.
Don't get it.
There's a lot of benefits, obviously, with having trees.
So you can't answer for.
They have to deal with.
You can't answer specific like permitting questions, can you? Maybe.
I have a neighbor.
Okay, so I was asking her earlier about they were talking about that they put a new rule in 2017 that says you can't build anything within 5 feet of your property.
Oh yeah, I
You can't get a permit for it.
So many different trees in front of my property.
It kind of depends where
And I think how it's funded, it may be
setbacks are.
And that's what she was saying too, but I was, they told me when I tried to apply for permit, they said I can't
And I
do
never
anything
like
within
to
5
see
feet of
Mona
your
alone.
property. And I was wondering if that also included things.
Really don't
meet the
So it sounds like
We've
it's
got a
also
few
but
seconds to
that's
head
why I
over
bring
to
that up
current
at the side.
station two.
Yeah, it kind of depends.
This is our last rotation.
You
We
reach out
got a
to
few more
arborists.
seconds. We're gonna get ready to
It just
move.
depends on where,
Margaret South,
how
and
high.
they looked at
8 feet.
They looked at it and they're like, sorry, we like
depending on where you are,
lines or whatever,
if you're in
they're
conservation
electric,
district, historic
water,
district, it's different.
something.
It could be different.
Gotcha.
But any other place,
No, I'm
it's
over
like
it. I'm by Love Field, so there's
Yeah.
nothing. You're not disturbing anything.
And let's go.
in front of your
Move
house.
around. Move around. Takes it out. Grab a popsicle. Move around. Move around. Move around.
I'm involved in
Popsicles over there. Move around. Mona is
I've learned a lot about zoning.
You don't have to be
and things like that.
I mean, I do see the work.
Okay, off the mic. Off the mic she goes. I hope you've made it to your last and final destinations day. It's about time for
I get a
me to
feeling
go
a
to
lot
bed.
of times that these aren't really for, bless you, for having conversations. It's just about seeing how, the public input is. And so that you get annoying things like that happening every once in a
We
while.
might that might be a good feedback for next time we don't do that.
Might just give them feedback now.
Yeah. Thank you.
How the process. And now,
Where the whole signage on the side of the building, the ticker, where that stands, where that is.
Oh, the one up in Uptown?
Stock exchange.
Yeah, I don't know. What's this street?
I think she definitely concerned I think they were wanting to kind of like phrase it. How do you say yes to this one and no to this one? It feels like it needs to be more standardized, requirements. Especially since one, which I know there's one building on Canyon wants to as well. Residential, kind of across the street, higher up, and then Stock Exchange has the museum tower, which I think they wrote letters for. So been concerned about if they want like something like an exchange, right? I believe to be a they want to like look here, like they're on the
There's like a
start on it.
Because I know that they did it 2 years ago. I remember seeing
Supposedly stocking starts if they don't allow sticker handles, they're canceling. Like they have like a backup clause that they might not even go in there if they can't get the sticker. So that's like a big if everybody will get it. I don't know. That's part of what I'm doing. Right? Can you imagine be like they just back out? Okay.
Regular.
What's kind of
Whatever the code is.
So that's just something how you see it. We try.
Is there going to be a similar law?
Franchise and stuff.
For the base code?
There's a lot of different.
Okay.
So we'll go to different places in the however, there'll be a team, let's just give them whether it be flyers, all different sources and ways to do it. So we're trying to do as much outreach as possible. It's going to be the same for public outreach. We actually have Alicia, I don't know if you came earlier, she was the one with the microphone. Yeah, she is with the marketing team helping, with these meetings.
Amazing.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of these, so this is the sort of, people getting familiar with the process before we do the outreach. So it'll be, as many avenues as we can. Just a resource. Yeah, oh yeah. There was just Arturo would know probably better than me. I think there was just just is there like $5.95? I believe is about. But there's really, and Arturo actually probably would be more interested because he's worked with some of those. He's done a lot of the things like that. And especially for Dallas, he was all
Because I feel like if people knew maybe every other year, every 3 years, that the zoning table
I'm more on the code amendment zoning side.
Oh, if it's not working now,
yeah, definitely Arturo.
I don't know.
Talking to somebody in South but if you want to ask him, I'm sure it's okay. Thank you. Okay, you're most welcome. Hi, how are you? Did you have any specific questions, or did you?
Yeah, all night I've been having questions about so when they do the rezoning process, who's going to be responsible for maintaining the sidewalks in the city? Is the city finally going to take charge of the sidewalks and repairing them and things like that, or is it still going to be the 50-50 program and all that?
I don't think it's going to address that, honestly. It depends on how it's written, in the different areas. Like if the sidewalk.
But if it's not a historical district, that's kind of like they're kind of stuck in their ways. So up and coming neighborhoods, older neighborhoods. I live in a neighborhood that's been around since the 40s, and what's happening is we have broken sidewalks, and we've been passed over twice for bond elections. They were supposed to be fixing it, and then I get to run around there sitting there telling me, we've got the what do you call it, the sidewalk replacement program where you pay 50% of the materials, and that's nice and all, but not everybody in my neighborhood has $2,000 to blow on trying to get their sidewalks fixed.
Yeah, it kind of depends on if it's going through, if it's a new development and it's going through.
It's transition. So we've got people dying, moving out, selling, and they're tearing down their things. And of course, I guess the old code said that you have to build the sidewalk on there, of course, and they're doing that part of it. But then you've got the people who've been there the longest, the older ones, and stuff's crumbling. If there's upheaval, stuff like that, and just trying to figure out who is it that we get the city to start replacing those sidewalks. And hopefully, and that's what I'm hoping that the new zoning plan is, especially like mixed-use development, who would be responsible for the sidewalks there, because you're going to have a combination of commercial and residential.
Well, that's what I was going to say. See,
I don't think it's going to address the maintenance of what's existing and what's out there, the public sidewalks, but because that's part of the bond program. I don't think it's going to touch that. But for the new zoning cases, if it's a planned development district or an SUP, we'll go in there as planners and we will have them upgrade the sidewalks a lot of times. I mean, I'm working on a PUD right now. We want wider sidewalks and we want them.
So like a multi-use path, yeah.
Yeah, and so they get redone at that time.
Right.
If it passes that way. If not, sometimes they can leave them existing, but they really are responsible for the maintenance of the sidewalks, at least during the time of development.
The developers.
Yeah, during development.
Okay.
So that's how we're getting the newer, wider sidewalks and the connections of sidewalks where there isn't any, or you've got undeveloped land.
Right.
That's how we're getting them. But if it's a straight zoning case, you can always do it that way. It's whatever's in the code. So I hope that helps. But
No,
again,
it gives me food for thought because, like I said, it's just and like the zoning process just really means like it seems like the people that are nervous because those are the ones in West Dallas. The people that are really nervous are like the business owners. There's guys who like have tire shops and auto body shops, and they say, "Wait a minute, are you gonna zone us out of here?" And so that was the big thing they're worried about because they're gonna make it mixed-use development, and so you can't do any more auto body repair because of the environmental concerns.
I know. A lot of it, to be honest with you, is going to be a rewrite of putting it together in a workable document. That's a lot of it because right now it's like this voluminous from 1960.
40 years worth of amendments.
And it's very difficult to navigate through when you've got regulations here and there and everywhere you've got to go to.
Right.
So that's a lot of it. But yes, there will be some regulation changes. There will be some new districts added. That's going to be more new districts added than things necessarily changing. Not to say there won't be any.
Right.
But the bulk of it's really a rewrite.
Yeah, like when we saw like they were talking about, like South Dallas, they were going to change some of the zoning rules, and they said they had something that's sitting there on the plate, and so now they're going to start working with those and start making it work. In other words, start getting some development started instead of having it in lots.
Yeah. The other, what doesn't get done in the development process, you can only do so much, because we're hoping this is going to be done by the end of the year. So that tells you right there, we still have all public input. That tells you right there it's not going to be that widespread of changes as far as, zoning and the actual regulations. There will be some. I'm not saying there's not going to be any, but a large part of it, again, is the rewrite, getting it in a workable format. And then we have the code amendments team, just like we went through the parking reform that was separate, right?
Okay.
That's what our team does. We go through and do some separate code amendments. That'll still have to be done. That'll have to be done. So
Like parking minimums, that's what we got to eliminate the parking minimums.
So there'll be pieces of that new code that we'll have to work with, a more workable document, but we'll still have to make changes. Absolutely. And again, it's a public process. We have to go through the full public process. It's not something that can be done
overnight.
Overnight, definitely.
No, I get it.
It depends on how big,
You have made it through all 5 stations. I think you're a zoning 101 genius.
No, it does.
Maybe you're a little smarter today than you were a couple of days ago. Maybe. I hope so. Nonetheless, you've made it through all 5 stations. We are so grateful that you guys came out tonight. Keep talking. No need to rush. Ask the questions that you've got. Write your thoughts down. We want to continue to hear from you. Thank you for being here this evening.
What they thought could work well for Dallas. And of course, they had a lot of stuff. I haven't been plugged into that since we're doing it. I've been handling zoning cases, because they need help. So, but Michael Wade he's very plugged in.
First station?
Yes.
We've got about 25 minutes or so left in the space, so you got about another 25 minutes to just ask questions and hang out with us if you want to stick around. If you see a guy with a camera and you want to talk into the camera, we would love to hear it. He's waving his hands in the sky. kind fellow with the camera and the microphone. Oh, we've got a volunteer. She's coming, Cam. She's coming. Bill, please feel free to see our friend Cam and offer your thoughts, your questions, your comments. We'd love to hear from you.
And like single family, could be one of them, more residential, multifamily, retail, industrial, whatever. That's big picture. And a lot of it is not necessarily what's existing today. It's areas that are changing. And with public input, and that took a long time. If you're familiar with Florida Dallas 2.0, that's a comprehensive plan. Got approved a year, maybe close to 2 years ago. It's not a static document. It'll get updated again. Things will continue to change. Things don't stay the same. So that's the vision. And the code is our zoning. It's called the Dallas Development Code. And that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to do the code reform, meaning calling it code reform. But that's what we need, the zoning code. So the full process, though, again, is the public input, which we're going to probably be doing it got pushed back already once, so I don't know. It's under review now, but the draft should go out around October or so. There'll be a lot of community input and engagement sessions in a variety of manners. This is kind of a start doing the series of, this is the first of several different series for zoning 101 to help people, to get them prepared for review, sending it to the public, so they know what we're talking about. Yeah, and so, but the zoning code or the regulations. You have a zoning district that is attached to every single parcel, and it determines what can be done on that parcel. And you do, is it single family? And if it's a single family district, that's mainly all you can do. You might be able to do some institutional uses like a church, school with an SUPs. But it's predominantly for residential values. So those zoning districts all have regulations for setbacks. You have to have, 25 feet, maybe 30 feet, but you have to have a front setback. You can't just put your house on the cover the entire lot, right? You got to have front setback, rear setback, side setback. You can't build it as tall as you want. You have to go by what the regulations say for your height.
And then there's accessory dwelling units. That's a new thing that's coming out.
Yes, and I don't know if that's going to be addressed through the code yet either.
Okay. I know they're going to talk about it.
Oh,
I got it in my neighborhood.
They're definitely going to talk about it. I just don't know if it's going to be part of it. So, but yes, absolutely. So that's what we're talking about when we say the zoning. And there's a process. You can't do what you want on, you can't just, if it's residential, you can't, necessarily retail, right? You can't just say, I want to open a business on my property. And, so you have
legally.
Right, yeah, right, exactly.
So you would have to change.
You have to change the zoning, and so that starts with an application with us. Staff goes through the review process. We have to advertise that to the public, zoning signs and notifications to the public before it goes to the public hearing. It goes to the City Plan Commission first. They make a recommendation at the hearing. If it's any type of approval, it can be approved with conditions or changes. If it gets approved and not denied, it goes on to City Council, same process. You still have to notify,
So like the HOAs would have to know about it and all of the, like this, it just can't be just one person doing this, so that'd be like a community group.
Right, it has to go, legally, zoning signs have to be up the whole time. And that tells the zoning case and the information to call, someone at the city to find out the information. Public notifications go, it depends on the size of the parcel, how far it goes out to property owners that are listed on the certified tax rolls. So in other words, you can't just say, well, I own that property. We take it from the certified tax rolls and if it changed ownership, we may not have that updated. It still has to go to who's listed until those tax rules change. But we have to send those notifications out. A lot of times, also, the city planning members of that district will ask for a community meeting. It just depends. I mean, if they feel like it's a simple enough change, or there's not a lot of questions they're getting from the community, they may not ask for a community meeting, but a lot of times they do. And that's when they will get with an HOA or other associations, community groups. They'll choose a location within that community. We have nothing to do with it. They'll coordinate with the applicant to hold that meeting with the applicant, invite the public or the community, and they'll do all the outreach and everything. But that's where they'll answer the questions. The applicant will present the request, and they'll answer any questions and take any feedback at that meeting. Sometimes there's more than one. It just depends. But a lot of times there's at least one before it goes to. Or, if they hadn't done that, sometimes it'll go to the City Plan Commission and they'll vote to have it held under advisement to another meeting so that they can hold a community meeting. But that's very typical for a zoning case.
Okay, so it's not something they just do on the spur of the moment. It's a long process.
Yeah, that's a process. And
It sounds very long.
it can be. It just really depends. I mean, we have a very tight time frame right now for the ones that want a plan development that's complicated, if it's a fairly simple request, then it's much tighter, time frame, and as long as the applicant is coordinated with the commissioner, and if the commissioner says I'm good, I don't need a community meeting, it can go faster. But we still have to go through the process. We still have to notify and all of that.
Do y'all have a backlog like the permit department has right now, or y'all haven't even done anything right now?
They ever since our new system and tighter time frame, there's not as much activity. I know we had one for a couple of years ago,
Right.
really
I know.
handle on that.
Yeah,
So
I
it's a
had to
lot
get
faster.
permits for several projects, and it took years.
It's a lot. It just depends on the case and everything, where it is and all that, and how much input's involved. And, it just depends on the nature of it, how long it takes.
Did you have a question?
Oh no, I'm just listening. Just
So
absorbing.
you're the person to ask, and I had a particular question. I've been hitting every other station, so I'm trying to build a driveway on my property, and they told me I couldn't build within 5 feet of the property line. And I said, okay, that's fine. But I was wondering, does that also apply to fences? You can't build fences within 5 feet of the property line, or they're exempt?
There is, that's in the development code where the fence can be built, and usually it's on the property line. But it is in the code, so it depends. Or if it's in a PD or whatever.
So this is in a residential area. It is in a historical district. It's over there in the left field area, and and so I had a developer. So I'm putting the driveway on my side, waiting on the permit on that. We said okay, fine, we'll do it within 5 feet. But then I noticed, I was like, wait a minute, the developers put this fence on the property line. Can they do that? Okay, so they
the fence typically will go on the property line.
Okay.
But the driveway, you're absolutely correct. It has to have clearance from the other property, their property line.
Yeah.
You can't.
But they said in 2017 to eliminate all of that because they got tired of getting people coming in saying, oh, you can't build this on my line, you can't build this on my line. They said, fine, from now on, 5 feet, 5 feet. And they say that there was part of for like the fire, was it something for the fire department that could have some clearance so that they could go through.
You gotta have clearance. I mean, now, of course, that might change for like a duplex or something because you got a lot of times you got to share.
Right.
Yeah, straddling property. But so the clearance actually changes depending on what I understand, and I'm no expert in permitting. That's not my realm.
No, I get it.
But I had that same question. It happens. So happens I had that same question just recently, So the clearance does change a little bit depending on the size of the lot and the proximity, if it's on the corner and some other things. So.
Yeah. And the other thing I was talking to someone was telling me you could get the city to, or you could get the city to bend on it if you talk to a board of adjustment. And then the Board of Adjustment could figure out your case, but sometimes, like I said, they lean more toward the developers than they do from individuals.
Well, that's a process too. I mean, you have to request the variance and go to the board and go through that process. You know, for certain things. Yeah, because that's a variance, and we can't do a variance through zoning.
Right. No,
that's why the board has to do that.
Right. So you're just trying to figure out initially this is what it's going to be. Like I don't know if you're familiar with Strongtown. Chuck Marone and all the different groups are there. Yeah. So they sit there and their whole thing is about, or Jane Jacobs.
Yeah.
You know, they're the Welcome Great Cities, things like that. So it's things like trying to make it more dense, more walkable, make it to where people in the community can get together and just trying to like eliminate. Yeah. So
we incorporate a lot of that through our plan developments, and that's how we're able to do that right now, because
so plan development is like mixed use development.
It can be. Most of them are. That's mostly what they're there for. They have sub-districts, a lot of times with different uses that they can do, but they have a lot of development standards. And we do, whenever they amend, they have some now, especially when they amend it, we'll come in and we'll put in those walkability standards. But a lot of them already have some design standards from a long time ago. Right. It's more about the building, the facade, how the facade looks. It might have public art, it may have some open space requirements and things like that. We also, though, when we get them in, we look at that now, and we want the wider sidewalks, and we want to make sure it's walkable.
Shaded, like what Arturo was talking about. So
that's how we're able to get a lot of those. And then the area plans too. The communities that want to change, and we get an authorized hearing for based on what the community wants. Like the Fair Park Dallas area that went through their authorized hearing took a while, but
and that's what
all of that can get incorporated, and depending on what the community wants, what fits. But that takes a long time because there's a lot of public input. They're kind of driving that process.
Because where I live at, they got two things going on. Over there, Walnut Hill, they used to have a government building, and they tore it down. It's over there off of Walnut Hill, just after you pass. It's on Marsh Lane, as you pass Walnut Hill.
Okay.
There's the Wendy's over there, and then they used to have a government building. Tore it down. They said, okay, cool, so we can make this, like you said, I think they were trying to make it, they rezone it as a PD. The people over there on Betty Jane Lane said, oh, heck no, you're not going to do that. And so all of a sudden there's this big fight back. They're going back and forth, and I see them on next door saying stuff, and I'm like, where are we going with this? So they want to put up duplexes, and people on Betty Jane make it sound like it's the end of the world. They think they're going to get what I got in my neighborhood, which is like low-income housing, apartment, multifamily kind of thing. But even they're kind of developing a little bit more. They're putting luxury apartments. And it's just a matter of if you love your neighborhood, you got to fight for it.
So that's where the focused. Because I got a lot of questions today about that too. Well, what about this? Or is this going to change my neighborhood? That really is more of the authorized hearing and area plan. What's right for that neighborhood based on what the community wants to see in that development. They know they have to live there. They choose to live there.
Right.
And so the plan is for them, and it's driven, and kind of community led. So, some of the zoning can be, uses can be changed through there, different design standards. Doesn't all have to be the same, depending on how big the area is. It's what's appropriate. Some of the industrial zoning, definitely, that can be done through the resident process with an area plan. Flora Farms went theirs.
We're running into all sorts of different issues where I'm at. It's just like my area is like the Wild Wild West. People do whatever the heck they want. It's not everybody kind of looking the other way. Every day I look and I'm like, okay, there's a code violation. You can't do that. You can't do that. So, but then there's other areas like I'm working with like the Friends of Bachman Lake, and they're doing things like, they're trying to figure out what Quick Trip's going to do over there off of Lemon and Northwest Highway. They've had zoning commissions since like 2018, and they're just kind of waiting. We don't know what's going to go on with that. And then you have other situations like, lost my train of thought. So,
Other situations.
yeah, it's just like, I forgot what I was going to say, but it's just like trying to get things developed to where, to get the parks together, get the shading put in there, people go to schools, things like that. They got one property there off 11 West Northwest Highway. I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do with that. So it's just all sorts of things. But the zoning part of it,
A lot of development, which is good.
How you doing?
yeah. Yeah, but hopefully it's better. But appreciate all like I said, answer my questions.
Oh, absolutely. If you care to write any down,
right.
Feel free to do that. We're putting them up on the board. To answer questions as we go forward.
Like I said, mainly mine was just trying to buy. I'm trying to get the neighborhood more walkable. We got a lot of broken sidewalks. We got missing sidewalks. It's just. It has a lot of potential because we're right there by, keep going down Larga, it turns into Community, and Community has that rail station. So it'd be nice to have a unbroken connection all the way out there.
And again, I mentioned this earlier, we definitely look at all of that whenever we get those the developments in, either an SUP or a PD, where we can write that in and get those in. We're definitely looking at that proximity to the North Station.
Right.
We definitely want those areas. So we try to get those when we can.
Right.
But you kind of have to wait for development to happen to get it right. I mean, unless it's on a bond program.
Even then, like I said, we're on a bond program. That's what I was talking about the sidewalk, and we got passed over twice. We had one in 2011 or 2015. I'm sorry.
Because development comes in, like I said, that's like.
So yeah, I know.
Yeah. Thanks. Nice talking to you.
Nice
Alley trash pickup.
How you doing, fella?
Hey, getting all the patients.
I met you before, West Dallas. You attended our West Dallas authorized hearing meeting.
Yes, I did. Well, two of them, I think. So,
Yeah, we got another one coming up next week.
that's why I've been getting calls. Okay. I'll see if I can make it. There's a lot of stuff on my plate. Is it on Wednesday or Tuesday?
That is on the 31st, the 30th. That is, I can't remember what day of the week. It's July 30th.
I'll put it down. 30th, though. At least I know now. Okay.
Same place, one top.
Yeah, multi-purpose center. Yeah, okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
What part did they give you? Oh, okay, early out.
Yeah, I got the final step, right? So right now we're drafting the code, but we plan on releasing it to the public here soon, hopefully sometime this fall, for your review and your feedback. Okay. After we've received that and we've sharpened it up based on the feedback that we've gotten, we're going to go for the final adoption. That's City Council will approve it, it becomes law.
All right. You know anything about the different types of codes or anything? Or yours is pretty much just zoning as far as what you do for the city?
Yeah, just planning and zoning.
I didn't get her name, but like I said, she helped me out a little bit with a lot of questions that I had asked about different things like trying to build stuff on your property. And it sounds like Dallas doesn't actually call them multi-use developments. They call them, what is it, PDs?
Mixed use, depending. Yeah, we use the word mixed use, not multi-use. We use mixed use.
Mixed use. Okay, so but PDs do they do the same role as mixed use or?
They can if the uses allow a different variety of different land uses. So let's say you have a PD that allows residential uses, commercial, and retail. That would be. It will function like a mixed use district.
Right.
Right. And so our PDs are customized zoning. So they could or they don't have to allow those mixed uses.
So that's like the loosest form of zoning there is. You can have everything in a PD except for industrial.
It depends on if that's how you write it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
You can have industrial in a PD. We have PDs that allow industrial.
So like you could have somebody who has an auto body shop on the bottom, and then on the top they could have a park.
If that's what the land uses allow, yes.
So you do the Boring Dallas, is it Boring Dallas YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, I came and talked just a little bit about zoning reform at Bachman Lake.
let's see, I think Councilmember Cadena was there, you were up front, and I think the conversation mostly went towards some of the industrial of what's going on in West Dallas. But I remember afterward we talked about that, and I think you had the camera on.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
I checked out your channel after that. Are you still posting videos?
Very much so, yeah.
Okay.
It's just weird stuff that goes on in the neighborhood. We got a weird thing going on with the homeless encampment in the alleys. And normally, you just kind of let that kind of thing slide because people got to go somewhere, but there's drug use over there and some other things, so trying to get it kind of cleaned up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, okay. I looked at that. I like that kind of, I don't know, I think it's journalism. I consider it journalism.
It's a journal. So it's just a video journal of me going around kind of seeing things, and it's like, I was like, look, it's a walk-on. That's all they are.
A walk-on, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So you just go around, you just kind of look at it, and say, this is what I see, this is what I see. Like right now, I'm just trying to see if I can get some kind of thing to work. We can kind of get some slowdown or some safer, traffic calming.
Okay. Yeah.
Traffic calming is the word of the day.
Okay.
I started doing this because I wanted to be able to walk down the neighborhood and not have broken sidewalks or missing sidewalks and things like that. So that's the mission.
Yeah.
But then everything else just gets thrown into it.
Yeah. I just moved from Old East Dallas to, I guess, kind of middle Oak Cliff, Illinois, and Vernon. There's the shopping center on one side, Elmwood on the other side, and there are a lot of vertical sidewalks, but not a lot of horizontal sidewalks.
Right.
East-west sidewalks.
Right.
And so I'm walking my dog, and he's a good boy, but he's not always a good boy. And he pulls out into the street, and I have to keep tugging him back because it'll be totally quiet, and then just one bozo pulling by, and there's no sidewalk, so I can't get over with it.
Yeah.
Without trespassing on someone's lawn.
Yeah. And we got a lot of that. There's over there. I can think of the property off my head, 3701 West Northwest Highway. You've got this big shopping center over there, and you've got the Walmart, and you've got the Planet Fitness and all that other stuff, but there's like no sidewalks that you can walk around and walk straight to it. So people are and I've seen it on video where there's people in wheelchairs, there's people on rascals, people on crutches, and they have to get out in the street.
Oh yeah. What's frustrating to me, so I was living and working in the Twin Cities before this, and I guess I don't know historically how it happened, but they were quicker on the uptake of sidewalk ramps that travel straight to the other side rather than go diagonally toward the intersection. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like so we got a curb out kind of thing where you got to go that and then you go around.
And you have to walk into the street, and I've seen women with strollers.
We're in our last
over the
5
curb
minutes.
just to
Thank
avoid,
you
so they
guys
don't even
again
use
so
the
much
ramp.
for
They just go
joining
over the
us
curb to keep
today.
them straight and not put their
Our
baby in the
next
street.
event is set for
Some of our newer
August
ones are straight, some of the newer ones are diagonal still. I'm like, why
It's
are
about
we doing this?
transportation, getting
That's
around
zoning,
Dallas.
just like the same thing, like I'm telling you about the traffic calming. I'm trying to get them to like slow down. I had to fight just to get speed limit signs. Okay, I got speed limit signs. Can I get a radar camera? No, I didn't want to do any of this. I just said, hey, can you guys put speed bumps in there? Do it the lazy way. They said, well, Mr. Young, we did our study, and based on
Staff,
this.
if you will join us at the front
Thank you for
display
doing
for
that.
photos.
I'm Michael.
Now you got about 4 more
Raymond.
minutes.
Yeah, just
And
like
then
Raymond
staff
would
join
do.
us at the front display for a photo. Oh, 3 more minutes, JK.
We have 3 more.
Thank you guys for being here today. We'll see you again on August the 13th at the Redbird Dallas College location.
Okay, so the hardest question of the day, where's the bathroom?
The bathroom? Okay, so that's going to be an interesting one. Because you can go up the elevator and then they're right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. I'm going to finish this and
Yes.
do my old.
Another alternative, but it's that way. I'm not too sure where you park.
I didn't park anywhere. I walked here.
Oh, okay, just.
I mean, not, I took the transit, the train
Okay,
for
so
it.
then it might be easier to just go to that one. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, you're right.
Hydrate. Alright, where's the stairs? Oh, this thing got knocked over, so the whole time I was recording, so this is unusable. Alright, cool.